What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, Solana has been making an absolutely fantastic move that we actually called almost on the money just a few days ago. Now, before we get into the video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a small clip, a little 5-second clip from our video on October 20th when the price was at $150. In this video, I was talking about the fact that it looked like we established some support on top of our resistance and we were possibly seeing a big move. Let's take a listen. Foundation and support readily available to get us up there, I would say that we definitely do have the support to get us back up towards $200. And off of that move, as we can see, from $159, the price then used that support establishment to work its way all the way up to our price target of over 31% over the span of 2 days, back up to $200. So major congratulations, of course, to anyone who did take part in that big move. And of course, everyone who did get in on the Patreon, as we are up into Patreon from $145 up to $200 on a midterm trade of about 40%. So now a lot of people are asking themselves the question, is it too late to buy Solana? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what I am expecting to see in the short term and how I'm feeling about the long term. So in the long term, let's just go ahead and put this out there. I do believe there's still upward potential. I think personally that going into the long term, we still have room to work. One of the biggest reasons being we're approaching our all-time high right here, as you can see. But realistically, if we look at something like the MACD, we're just starting to see that big move to the upside. This hasn't even been enough volume to get us, halfway up some of these levels in which we saw here. Now, sure, can we see something similar to this in which the MACD starts to do that? It starts to converge a bit and then continues? Sure. But realistically, in terms of long-term potential, I mean, even if we work our way up 3/4 of the way before seeing a little bit of bearish divergence, I mean, we could still be looking at massive growth up towards $300 to $400. Even if we look at our daily RSI, we still are seeing a similar formation in which we're just entering overbought territory. We're just getting there. And again, we're approaching our all-time high. We're not very far from it. And so with that being said, just to kind of go ahead and get it going and, answer the question early, no, I don't believe it's too late if you're looking at this from more of a long-term perspective. Now, if we do want to look at this from more of, say, a short-term perspective, sure, looking at this thing on the 4-hour charts, we have just recently cleared some of our absolutely most key areas of resistance. And so if in the short term we do see a bit of a pullback, I think that would be super understandable, and I think it would be very necessary for this upward continuation. Now, one of the reasons I say that is you can see how whenever we clear these key levels of resistance, we have to establish them as support. So what we saw was the breaking of our trend line, in which we saw, boom, this consolidation, continuation upwards. We then broke past our 618 Fibonacci retracement from, again, our all-time high down to this swing low here, in which we then came back down, retraced, put in that low, and then continue upwards. Now, what we're looking at right now is we're between two massively important areas, the 786 and our all-time high. Realistically speaking, we will more than likely, if we don't immediately, probably within, say, the next day, come up to our all-time high, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest to see us retrace back towards our 786, which is at about $194, or even as low as our 618 towards $180. I think either one of those makes a lot of sense to allow some of these RSIs and the MACD to just relax a bit. We might see a little bit of convergence here, as well as starting to see the RSI roll back towards some of these lower levels, the 66 to 70 range, in which we would then see that support establishment and then the break up to our all-time high. But realistically, and then, the more of a midterm perspective, the fact that we have been able to clear our 786 is usually a telltale sign that we've walked through the doors into a bull market continuation. And usually when we can clear above the 786, once we come back down to find support either on top of it or on the 618 and re-clear the 786, that's the moment in which we're going to go into the big bull market past our all-time high. Okay, so in the short term, what we're looking at the moment, it would not surprise me at all to see a bit of a rollback. I mean, honestly, from where we are right now, the amount of amazing move we've seen, I wouldn't be surprised to see something between, a 5 to 12% pullback, especially seeing the rest of the market, kind of lagging a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But if we are able to establish some support on top of some of these key levels, as we did mention before, at $194 or $180, look for that support establishment, guys. I mean, we have all of these VPVR support zones below us at this point, in which people are doing massively, massive loads of buying and putting in many orders. And so the fact that we will have so many orders going in and so many people trying to take advantage of that support establishment, I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see, boom, again, that support establishment, continuation to the upside, and then we're going back into some type of big bull market. Okay. Now, in terms of where this thing can go, so in the long term, again, I do believe it still has a lot of potential. In the short term, I think there is grounds for a pullback to happen unless we explode through the all-time high, in which I still believe a pullback down to these levels would happen. Okay. Now, I could be wrong, and it could just absolutely keep going. That would be fantastic, of course. And the way in which you would know it's just going to keep going is if it clears 243. If your price goes up past its all-time high and breaks a 1.272 fib resistance, then realistically, the likelihood of it coming back down to like a 786 or 618 becomes a little bit less likely. It's more likely to retrace back to the all-time high or something like that, create that support, and then continue upwards. Okay. But overall, my price target at the moment, I honestly do believe there are grounds right now for this thing to push back up between $277 and $300. I think a 1.618 fib extension with even more little bit room to grow there is very possible, especially considering what we are seeing on the daily charts. Just seeing the fact that we have all of this potential room left to grow, I think that's going to put us right in line to see a massive move, possibly up of another 50% back towards $300. And so at the moment, with the continuation of this big uptrend that we're seeing, if Solana is able to keep performing, especially in the short term, if it's able to hold some of these levels, if it retraces, I do believe $300 is very possible. Now, what we just need to see is that if the price does retrace, that we can hold one of these levels. If we lose $178, there then becomes an increasing chance of us rolling back down to towards some of these levels, and we don't want to have to deal with some type of possible head and shoulders pattern or anything of that nature. Okay, we want to see us put in that higher low if it does come back down to retrace, and then let's see that support establishment continuation upwards. But at the moment, all of our indicators tell us that this is very possible. The amount of resistance in which we did clear was absolutely amazing with this 3 big candles to the top side. And so realistically, again, even if it does retrace, it does seem to me as if we're about to go up to set that new all-time high. So of course, I will let you guys know what does happen. If you want to trade Solana, if you want to get in, go down to the referral link down below. It'll bring you over to ByBit. Once you deposit $500, you'll get $25 for free that you can do whatever you want with, and you'll be entered into the chance to win an extra $500 with the giveaway. So definitely go check it out if you are outside the United States, as well as if you want to get in on these videos and these trades early, go down to the Patreon link down below. That's where I do all of my trading, all of my research, and all of that good stuff. But with that being said, guys, I am closing on a house in exactly 1 hour from now, but I had to get this video out for you all. So I'll be a little bit MIA this weekend, I'm sure, as I'm getting the move and, getting all my stuff moved in. So I will see you all very soon. Keep a close eye on these support levels if it starts to retrace. There's nothing to panic about. It's super normal and super necessary. But with that being said, I will see you all very soon. Peace.